you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that makes it official when the Iron Lady sings it. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you but doesn't judge you, at least not as harshly as the rest of your family. But we don't loan you money, so stop asking. Please stop the emails, for the love of God. Anyway, the Nigerian Prince emails, can you stop those too? Anyway, guys, as always, we have the most brightest minds on the show. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss, one of the TikTok and all those crazy places on the internet. Today we have another young, accomplished CEO and entrepreneur of his companies and what he does. We're going to get into his journey and how he got into it as well, and maybe give some advice to people who are up and coming, wannabe entrepreneurs. Brandon Acker joins us on the show with us today. He purchased Titan Abrasive from his uncle in 2013 after having spent 5 years learning the ins and outs of the business. Since then, he's been in the process of completely redesigning, upgrading the entire product line. And as president of Titan Abrasive Systems, he oversees the design and manufacture of the company's complete line of blast machine products for industrial applications. He's passionate about American manufacturing, the jobs it creates, and quality produced, and the bright future that lies ahead. Let's keep hoping that keeps saying that way. We like a United States bright future. And he sources made in USA components for all of their Titan's blast cleaning equipment. Welcome to the show. How are you, Brandon?
Excellent, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. Give us your .coms. Where do you want people to find you on the interwebs?
We're easy. We're just TitanAbrasive.com. And abrasive singular, no S on the end.
Nice. So give us a 30,000 overview of what you guys do there.
So we're a manufacturer, OEM manufacturer of abrasive air blast equipment, commonly referred to as sandblasting equipment. So we make big, blast cabinets that have gloves. You put your hands on to blast parts, big blast rooms that you can drive a dump truck or a tractor trailer into, dust collection systems, all that good stuff.
And so they does that blast the paint off of trucks and stuff, or is the dust, or?
Yeah, it's a combination. Sometimes it's new. It's actually new steel a lot of times that's just being prepared to be coated. So it's new fabrication on other manufacturers. They blast all their stuff to give it a profile to coat it. Or it can be, something old that's rusty that you want to clean all the rust off, and it'll take the metal back to pretty much how it was when it was new. Or repainting, if you're repainting equipment, cars, blast the paint off and get it ready for new coat.
Now, I'm a little overweight and dieting. Could maybe I use this to shed a few pounds, what do they call that, sculpting? Maybe
a little body sculpting,
yeah. A little body sculpting, a little sandblast, sandblast those fat rolls off me.
Might be a little painful, but
it's 2022. Damn it! Why haven't you fixed this? It's your fault, Brandon. So you guys make, and this is American made. Why is American made important to you, in your words?
To me, it's important just for being an American and keeping manufacturing here in this country, supporting the country, supporting jobs, supporting our own people, and making a good quality product. I think that's what we've always been about and I think we've kind of lost our way in the recent past, but hopefully we're coming back.
Definitely, I think over COVID, people learned that, issues with supply chains and issues with quality, there's been questionable stuff coming out of China for years, fentanyl being in all sorts of stuff too is a big thing. And so I think a lot of people kind of realized with COVID and supply chain issues that near sourcing, I think, is the term they're using now. And so either coming back to the States or manufacturing either in Mexico or Canada, I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out the map. Clearly, I went to public school. Oh, Canada. This has been a big thing, I think, hasn't it? Manufacturing returning to America.
It has been. It has been for, I'd say, quite a few years, and I think COVID really brought it to light and really made people, aware of it and what the problems of not manufacturing in this country and what they can be. Yeah. I mean, even as an American manufacturer, COVID kind of taught us some things and really helped us flush out any remaining parts that we might have coming that are not made in this country. Became pretty obvious when they were all of a sudden 2-year lead times.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, we used to review a lot of products before COVID, and so people would send us their products, and the chip shortage and other shortages of COVID, I had people I was calling up that I did business with for 10 years, and I'm like, hey, can we get some reviews of whatever this is? And I'm like, of course, we're dead in the water. We can't make product. We can't ship product. We got nothing. It's on a boat somewhere, and we can't get the chips for it. I mean, it really just locks some people down, probably puts some people out of business.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it put quite a few people out of business.
Yeah. Now, I'm a single guy who hates dusting the house. I notice you have these cartridge dust collectors. Can I install one of those in my living room so it doesn't collect dust? Because I hate dusting.
Yeah, it's pretty big to set up in the living room. But hey, as long as you have 3-phase electric, we can get one set up in there.
3-phase electric? Is that what you said? 3-phase?
Yeah.
Is that what yeah, we can. I don't know what that is, but I can pretend I know. So tell us a little bit about your journey through life and how you ended up owning the company.
Well, it was my uncle who started the company back in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid growing up, I always knew about it, always liked working there, helping out. Never really thought at the time when I was a kid, never thought I would own it. I just liked working out there, hanging out in the shop. I just thought it was a cool place to go, cool place to hang out. Wanted to work there when I got older, and which I did. And just one thing led to another. And I ended up, taking over and had the opportunity to purchase the company outright and take over in 2013 and change some things up, being a new generation, and had different ideas, and now I'm getting a chance to make them happen.
So was it scary taking on your first foray into being an entrepreneur? Of course, you're buying a already successful business, and you kind of know the ropes of it. So
it was scary, and probably I had wild ideas of what to do, and a gross underestimate of what was going to be involved in that undertaking.
What? Starting a company? No way. There's
redesigning all the equipment. It's a cake.
Yeah. It's not as easy as it's a large ship, and it's not too easy to turn that ship. That's for sure.
No,
there's a lot to go into it. But so you buy out was your rest of your family in the business, or was it just I think it was an uncle or something you bought it from?
It was my uncle. No, just no other members of the family.
And how'd you convince him to sell you the company? Was he wanting to retire, or did you just say, "Hey, I've got some ideas"? Yeah,
just kind of the going different directions, and I guess the direction I wanted to take the company in, I guess was a favorable one. Required some thought, and then came back to me and decided it was a good idea, to have me take over and see what I could do with it.
Yeah. So what's the journey been like? You've been overseeing it now for 5 years, right?
Since 13, so we're really 14 kicking. So almost 10 years now.
I flunked public school again.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah. It was for 5 years before.
Yes, 5 years I worked there before taking over. Yeah. Correct.
I vaguely remember the bio I was reading.
It's in there. The 5 was in there.
It's the Alzheimer's that's kicking in. So now you've been doing it for all this time. What are some of the things that you've helped innovate, or some of the processes you've used that helped innovate? Like analyzing stuff, trying to figure out how to do the improvements you want. I imagine there's probably some modernization you probably tried to do over the years.
That modernization was probably the biggest thing, the biggest goal I had, in that we were fabricating everything in house, and we were doing it, for many, many years, and kind of old school. And I was just trying to bring us up to speed that we could compete with our larger competitors, and innovating that and bringing it. My idea was getting everything onto a computer, getting everything into 3D models, being able to spit it out to machines we didn't have. So that was the start, getting all of our equipment redesigned is what it took, because all of our stuff was kind of on old drawings and, a lot in people's heads that I know how to do it. I know how to make it, but unfortunately no one else does if it's not in a drawing. So
got hit by a bus last night. Does anybody know how this works?
Yeah, exactly. So luckily I was able to get that info out of people before
Bob got hit by the bus.
Yes,
so,
yes, before the bus.
Thanks, Bob. We miss you. It's always fucking Bob. It's always a guy named Bob. Bob. So you probably had to do a lot of updating. Do you guys have lasers yet? That's a new thing. You have any lasers? We
have, being a smaller manufacturer, it's virtually impossible to get that kind of equipment because of the cost of it if it's not running constantly. A structural laser, which we need to use for tube, round items, anything that's not flat, they're a couple $1 million. So it would have been about I'd say a $5 million investment in equipment, which when buying a company was more than I was willing to take on at that time.
Yeah.
I actually started to look and outsource found a contract manufacturer, someone who had those capabilities, that already had the lasers, the investment, and just needed that was the key of our equipment being in SolidWorks, being in a 3D modeling program, that we could outport it to their machines so that they could cut it out. So it kind of brought us up to speed without the investment.
And you guys pretty much can make these custom to how they want them, and
yeah, wow. Yep, we could pretty much make anything. If you can dream it, we can make it.
Maybe that body shaper, the body.
I'll get engineering to work on that as soon as we wrap up.
What if you just had like a sandblast proof suit on, but it was really tight, and so when the sand would blast off you, it wouldn't break the suit, but it would just kind of help pound those fat cells and kind of, I don't know, explode and dissipate them? That, or it might do that to your heart. I don't know, one of the two. Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Kind of like the modern version of the belt, that big belt shaker.
Belt. I mean, yeah, it's pretty funny. I mean, with leadership, what is it like taking over for another CEO? What is it? Were you prepared for the leadership position when you went into it, or did you have to kind of trial by fire that?
No, I was pretty prepared. I don't know if you're ever fully prepared for what's going to come at you.
That's true. It's almost like life sits around and goes, "Oh, what can he handle? Oh, yeah, let's throw this in him.
Yeah,
let's throw that in him too. Just keep him dodgeballing back and forth."
Yep, just when you think you're ready, I got this, no problem. And bam.
I remember I used to tell my business partners we were growing, I'm like, eventually we're going to get a sexual harassment complaint. Thank God we haven't got one so far. And then the first one we did, he came in my office, he goes, "We got our first sexual harassment complaint." And I go, oh, really? Who is it? And he goes, "Chris and Greg." And I go, "We don't have any Chris females that work here." And it was two guys sexually
harassing one another.
And I was like, I did not see that one coming. That was not on the card. That was not on my bingo card. I did not see the LGBTQ sexual harassment thing. I always just for some reason assumed it would be a man or woman.
Yeah.
But what do I know? It's like a never ending. Hey, have you experienced this yet? Go ahead, because we just threw it at you, and you're just like, damn it, I wanted to sleep today. What do you find works for you in being a leader and inspiring your staff? Of course, you're taking a company you were taking a company at the time from, maybe kind of an older world concept, process, and an ideology to maybe a new improved culture and a forward thinking kind of learning organization. Was there any of that you struggled with or went through?
Yeah, I mean, I had a different approach probably than what everyone was used to. Mm-hmm. It's just my approach was more trying to keep everyone involved, everyone on the same page with what we were doing, what my plans were, what my goals were, and make sure everyone had some involvement in that, and everyone was included to say, hey, this is the path I'd like to take, and make sure everyone was on board with that, and make sure they knew they had a place and a role in the company's future.
Yeah.
And how this is where we're going to go, and how we need everyone to get there.
Yeah. Having an organization that makes feel like people feel like they've had the buy-in, they want to do it, as opposed to, the normal gun to your head, do your job or else.
Yes.
And that's how we do things around the Chris Voss Show, by the way. And it doesn't work well, but boy, people sure get their work done. But the feds keep calling. I don't know what that's about. Don't hold a gun to people's head, folks. That's a joke. Yeah, guys, the amazing stuff you have to make clear on the show. So, who are your big customers that you guys usually serve? Like, not by name, but like by industry. And I'm thinking of people listening to this on LinkedIn that are in some of these industries. Hear this?
We do a lot with the military. Military is a big one. Aerospace. Mm-hmm. Aerospace is becoming very big now. Some nuclear stuff and a lot of other manufacturers, OEM manufacturers of equipment. Mold guys that do like vacuum molding. Yep, they're using it to clean the molds.
For mold. I was thinking black mold.
Yeah, not although there is mold remediation that sandblasting can be used for. Yep, you can actually spray baking soda.
Oh, really?
So it will be like a soda blaster. So you're actually spraying soda blasting. It's good for used in like fire damage. Take smoke and fire damage off, deodorizes it. Also good for mold remediation. Yeah, kind of interesting.
I'm gonna put some if it will. There's a soda joke in there somewhere. You said something. It'll blast soda. I'm gonna put some Pepsi in it. I don't know. That's a dumb joke. But most of them are on the show anyway. The blast room. No, I'm just laughing at how stupid that joke is. Blast rooms, blast cabinets, blast machines. There's a lot of blasting going on here.
A lot of blasting.
Yeah, you guys ever thought about just making hug rooms instead of blast rooms?
Instead of blast.
Put them on blast is how they talk in the troll chat.
It's funny on the blasting thing too. We used to get a lot of we have the search engine optimization, people contacting us for equipment, what they type in, and people were typing in blast room, and they kept coming to us, and it was all these marijuana guys. Which is, I'm like, why are all these marijuana guys wanting blast rooms? I'm like, what are they blasting in there? And finally, one call, I'm like, okay, what are you guys blasting in there that you need a blast room? They were looking for a room that was like an explosion-proof room, not a blast room. Apparently, when they do whatever they do to extract whatever they're extracting out of marijuana, I think they use alcohol to do it. Something is flammable and volatile. So they wanted something to contain that if it exploded. So they did not want a sandblasting room, but
that's
kind of funny on that play on the blast room, what people think a blast room is. And
I live in Nevada and take edibles. I didn't know they were blasting my edibles somehow.
They're blasting. That's what they're getting out, like all the CBD, whatever they're extracting from the marijuana to put in the edible. Somehow that process. I believe they've changed it now because we don't get much of that anymore.
That explains why my edibles taste like sand.
It's a little gritty.
It's a little gritty, but it gives you that. It gives you that fiber. The sand fiber, someone looked that up. Yeah, I might want to get, if it will control explosions, I might want to get one for my girlfriend to put her in there when she's in her feels. And maybe I can just kind of contain, are you calm, honey? I don't think this is going to work for me at all. I think there's laws against this, really. But it made for a good joke. Media reclaim systems. What is a reclaim system?
A reclaim system is used to reclaim the media. So basically, the key is that's where it got away from the term sandblasting. Sandblasting was an old term because people used it. They used to use sand, and that's how it started. Where here in way back early 1900s, a guy Benjamin Tillman is the one who invented sandblasting and saw it happen in the desert by sand hitting an object and eroding it, and came up with the invention of sandblasting. But in recent times that we've actually gotten away from actual using sand because of its harmful effects of silica in the dust and getting silicosis, and now there's a whole bunch of different medias that can be used, and the key to that is the reclaimability of it, being able to use those medias again and again, which is what that reclaim system does. It takes that media that you'll blast with, you put in the reclaim system, it cleans it, and then puts it back into the blast machine, so you can reuse it, which is where you're really going to get, save your money, make your money back on the equipment and all by reusing that media over and over.
Yeah, you don't want to get any of that stuff in your lungs. That's for darn sure.
No, you certainly do not.
It doesn't sound fun at all. So they use something more than sand. That's really interesting. No.
Yeah.
And it's still called sandblasting.
Most people still refer to it as sandblasting. Yeah, even though very few people actually use sand.
Wow. What do they use now?
A lot of our rooms for recycling are using steel grit. Everything kind of looks like sand. Imagine everything's in that form.
Yeah.
It all looks like sand, but steel grit is just looks like sand, but they're little pieces of steel. Another one is aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide is what you find on sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. All comes in different grits like that, just like sandpaper. You have, 400 grit, 80 grit. They're going to be more coarse or fine.
It's crazy, man. I don't want to get caught in one of those rooms without a suit or breather on. That's for darn sure.
No.
I could lose some weight, if they just turn on for a second and then, I don't know. There might be onto something here. This could be a new revenue source, a stream for you. Yeah, the fat loss baking room or something. I don't know.
Yep.
What do you see on the future for manufacturing in the U.S., manufacturing for yourself, maybe new trends that are coming in technology or even AI?
AI.
You just hear that on your side. Too much. That's how I am whenever I try and figure out how
the show is going to make people's brains bleed. I just didn't know it was going to be mine.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. The only downside of the brain bleed thing is we seem to lose, like, someone dies about every couple months or something, but we're like the NFL. We haven't gotten it tied to us yet, so we're just waiting for a class action lawsuit. But no, I mean, like, anything on your vision horizon, what you see happening with American manufacturing or what you guys are doing, or maybe where you're trying to lead the company to?
I mean, technology obviously is a big one for us in the blasting. A lot of robotics come into play. Something we're working on, automating things, making things safer. AI is going to play a role in probably everything everyone does soon. I just don't think we really have a handle on what it's going to do yet.
Yeah, I'm going to go ask OpenAI if it can help me lose weight using sandblasting. See what it says. That should be interesting.
Yes, that would be a good one.
We're going to sandblast all you humans when we take over.
Yeah, give it some ideas.
Yeah, Soylent Green. That's where you're all going. And so, you run this company. Good job at taking over and leading it successfully. Anything more we need to know about your company, what it does, and how you do it?
Our big thing, I guess, that we are, we're a U.S. manufacturer. That's our big thing. Is that we're taking great pride in making everything here, constantly innovating to do the best we can and keep up with technology and always advancing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got to keep up, because if you don't, your competitors will, right?
Yes, they will. Or the AI will. One or the other.
Or the AI will. Yeah, that's somebody's got that AI down. It's crazy. I can't even keep up. Like, normally I can keep up with everything, but AI is just so all over the place. I'm just like holding on for dear life. And normally I'm not like that with technology. But, it's not focused on one sort of thing. There's so many different variations. But you look at the movies it can make, the creativity that it does. It's pretty insane. But I'll go piss OpenAI off and see if I can. Do we get money from OpenAI? Am I just doing free advertising at this point? That'd be cool. Anything more you want to talk about before we go out, and give us the .coms?
Okay, .coms are titanabrasive.com. You can also find our blog at letsgetblasted.com.
I love it. Let's get blasted. That is awesome sauce.
That's where we'll be putting up the feedback from the OpenAI on losing weight with blasting. You'll find that on Let's Get Blasted.
I can see you on a TikTok channel on TikTok and just talking about sandblasting, and you could probably sell like 1 million of them shirts on TikTok shop. So it's been wonderful to have you on. Very insightful, Brandon. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Continued success, and thanks to our audience for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss. Chris Voss won the TikTok and all this crazy place on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you next time. And that should have us out. Thanks, Brandon.